This time I have an AKAI GX747. This is a reel-to-reel machine, top of the line, probably one of the best ones that AKAI ever built. It's a 2-speed machine, 3 3/4 and 7.5, so it's not a real professional machine because the real pro machines, of course, had 15 IPS, but this was a very good machine in its day. Still considered to be one of the best machines. Glass heads, 6 heads, auto reverse. This one's making a funky sound. Check it out. Well, maybe a gear is broken here. That's odd behavior. This is an AKAI 747, one that I've actually never worked on one of these ones before, so I don't even know where to begin. Let's just take a quick look at it and see what might be causing this problem. It sounds like gears are stripping in here is what it sounds like. So it might be plastic gears that are worn out in this mechanism. I'm going to start by removing the screws for the covers and stuff so I can take a look under here and just see if we can see where the fault is. If it's broken gears, I have no idea where I'm going to be able to find anything like that. But we have to take it apart so we can see. Get this faceplate off here. Remove the pinch roller. I always wanted one of these machines when I was younger. This was the machine that everybody wanted, but they were so darn expensive back then. I ended up with the 260 glass heads, 6-head system. It's got the center capsule like this, so it's got 6 heads like this one. Erase, record, replay, erase, record, play, exactly the same. Except it only takes the smaller reels. And it uses a belt drive capstan motor, AC motor, whereas this one here is a direct drive capstan motor. This should remove the cover and allow me to remove this so I can see what's going on these arms. Of course I have to pull off the knobs. If I lift this up, the knobs probably will come off. The covers. There we go. Okay, now will this piece lift off? Yes, this piece should lift off now. And we can get a look at what's under there. Let's observe what happens down here. Oh, now it's going to work. Really? I can see that this is slipping here, this gear. Seems like it's slipping on the bottom of the motor. Almost seems like that little motor that drives it is loose. If we look here, if I move this gear, you'll see that that motor appears to be, that gear at least, it appears to be loose. How about this one? This one's not. This one's loose on this side. Yeah, this one appears to be loose. I wonder if that lifts out. It looks like it might lift out. There might be a couple screws on here that hold this in place. And this tensioner will lift right out. Well, that's loose there. What the heck? That screw doesn't, I don't think that screw has to come out, but this nut has to come out. I don't know if I've got a nut driver that'll fit that or not. Let me just look and see. But it looks like that nut has to come out, and then this whole assembly should lift out. Actually, this screw might be what holds that motor in place. It seems like it's loose. Oh, no way.
Ah, ha, ha, that's what holds that in place. That screw had backed its way out, so I don't have to make any adjustment. Let me put those other screws back in. Could it be that that's all that happened is the screw came loose? Yes, that could be that's all that happened is the screw came loose. How these are supposed to operate is when you put the tape in, they're spring loaded, but they have these motor actuators on them, and this one here was not returning back because this was loose. See, now it's in load mode. As soon as you touch it to go into load mode, and then they go back. Because there's no tape on it, they go back into load mode. That's how they're supposed to work. Not that. That might have been what was wrong with this machine. We'll see if any of the solenoids are sticking. Quite often you got to lubricate these points here. Usually do. This is a damper on here, so that's to lower it down slowly. So I'm just going to remove the damper just to see how free the mechanism is now without the damper. Yeah, it's pretty free. Probably could use a little bit of lubricant on it. I'm going to put some grease down here on the slide assembly down here where it's greased now, and the grease down in here is actually drying up, so we're going to throw some fresh grease in there and make sure this is all nice and smooth. I mean, I don't see anything, I don't see any issues with this machine mechanically, right? Brakes, everything's moving freely, nothing's sticking, so it's in really good shape, other than the fact that that screw had come loose. I should check the one on the other side just to make sure that it's also not coming loose. And it's not. This one's tight on this one that holds that motor in place. There's probably another one on this other side too. Oh yeah, that one was loose as well. So both of those screws that hold that motor in place were loose. That, I think, probably was what the problem was with this unit. Which is good, because these are great units. Like these AKAI machines, they went on forever. Other than they pop the odd capacitor in one of the run caps for the motors. Sometimes go bad on them.
And the snubbers for the solenoids.
Other than that, these machines themselves have been very reliable over the years. These are pretty old, these machines. So we're going to lubricate the slide down here. That's more like it. I'll reattach the damper. It only goes on one way. There is a key that locks in here to stop it from turning. So what this arm does is it just slows things down a bit. It's just the dampening. So this has got silicone grease in it, makes it for a slow return. So when you stop it, it just stops the pinch roller from dropping down at full speed. I'm going to put the cover back on. We'll fire it up and test it with some tapes. It's got a direct drive capstan motor on here, so there's no belts to worry about. Direct drive capstan, direct drive reel drive. So let me get the top cover back on, and then we'll run some tests. I will put some oil on the pinch roller before I put it on. Just on the bearing here. Okay, let's lace up a tape and see how it sounds. Not that it's probably going to sound that great because all the tapes I've got are shit, but we'll load one up anyway. Try not to laugh too hard. I'm just going to put a 5-inch reel on here. That probably will be good enough, and I think it just goes around like this.
Wait a minute, that doesn't sound right. I don't ever recall that music being recorded on the tape. What the hell?
I'm sitting here wondering, why is nothing working on here? And then I realized that it's, well, it's in source mode. Yeah, like if I... That's the tape thing. What the hell? Okay, now the pitch control works. That sounds a little better. I was wondering, why is this thing not... Like, why is it not working? Well, that explains why. It was in source. That just happens to be what was playing. Like, what a fluke, right? When I hit the play button, the MP3 player, which was feeding in on the... There was no sound. It just so happened it was between tracks when I hit the button. You know, so I had to take his adapters off. I've got some 10-inch reels, but the 10-inch reels I've got, the tape is sticky shed, so I haven't redone the tape on the reels. I was given a few reels that were 10-inch tapes, but they're old tapes, so I kind of just have them on my TAC as a display. But this is a 2-speed machine, so 7.5 and 3 3/4. See, my TAC is 7.5 and 15, a real recording machine. Not that this is a great machine. Real-time counter, if I hit reverse, it'll go to reverse the motor, and then let's check out fast forward. We'll just make sure that everything's working. I think I can say this machine is good. I don't have to do anything more on it. The reason he was having problems with his rewinding, his fast forwarding, is because the tension arm, it goes through a motor to control it, and it wasn't obviously operating correctly, wasn't hitting the right switches, and yeah, it failed. I'm going to go get the 10-inch reel. We'll load the 10-inch reel up on here and just play that, although again the tape itself is bad. But yeah, this is working like it's supposed to. Pause, fast forward, everything's working like it's supposed to. So the guy that owns this is going to be thrilled, especially when I tell him it's not costing him no $500 to fix it, because the problem was caused by a couple of loose screws. Actually, I can put it in, I'll put it in reverse mode here. We'll watch it do the reverse. It should, this has metallic sensors on it, so it should trip. It's gonna end like right now. Oh, you know what? They're probably on the wrong side of the tape, that's why. But I think that some of these machines require the tape to be facing a specific direction. But this does have metallic sensing tape on it, and it did not reverse. But again, most people with these machines, they put the sensing tape on in the right place. No slack. Nothing sticking out through the reel. The engineers would say if you had a piece of tape hanging out of here, right, you were lazy. Rewind. I'll rewind the tape to the end, and then I'll go grab the bigger tape and we'll thread up the 10-inch reel and see how it works. I'll use his hubs. I think I can probably figure out how these ones work. They're different than the ones I've got. The ones I've got are, these are the hubs I wish I had. The ones I've got are crap. They're 3D printed that I bought off of eBay for way too much money because they look like original reels, and I got them in, well, they were, somebody 3D printed them. They were a joke. You got to actually take them out. You put the reel on and you put this thing on and clamp it down. You got to take them out to take the reel off because they're just a single piece. They were just an absolute joke. This is what I wanted. I wanted when I bought them because I didn't get them with my machine. I wanted these, and I ended up buying some. And turns out that yeah, they were a junk. Now when this hits the end, these should auto stop it. Right, and then they return to like they're supposed to, which is exactly what we want to see. Let me go grab the other tape. Just to give you an idea of what I was sold, that is what I was sold. Off of, I don't know, it was in 3D printed or in molded, but this is what I was sold. And how these work, it's a joke. You take your tape spool, and you have to put it into this. You put that on there first, and then you put it on. I mean, yeah, it gets the job done, but come on. Come on. Gotta untape this. Cat decided to eat the end of the tape. These ones go on like that, and then you just do that. And there's... Okay, how do they work? Do that, and then do that. A little easier to do it than take this out. I mean, yeah, they get the job done, but come on. On the TAC, it's actually pretty easy because you just turn these, you just unscrew them, and they screw down. None of these pull, like these ones you have to pull them and latch them in place. On the TAC, you just give them a turn. Push that all the way on, and then get that a turn, lock it in. All right, let's thread this bad boy up. This tape's got sticky shed, so I don't know what's going to happen when I run it. It might play. Obviously I can't play this music, so can't play this, sorry. Gotta stop the tape while I'm doing this. Okay, I guess I have to shut that off. I'll just get it to source with the volume turned down so I can talk. Just so we can watch this thing, because you know that's the coolest thing about reel to reel, right? Is watching the reels turn. You don't care what's on there. You could have music playing from the radio. I'm perfectly fine with that. Just have your MP3 player playing into the source so that the VU meters move and the tape reels turn. I know, isn't that kind of silly? But yeah, it's the whole bit of the tape reels turning. That's what the attraction, I think, to a lot of these are. Because these machines are a work of art, really. I mean, they're beautiful. Just to see that sitting there, you know, on a stereo stand as the top piece. Used to be the turntable was on the top. Maybe it is on some people's. But just to have the machine sitting there with the large 10-inch reels, it just looks cool. And I got my 3340, my TAC 3340, which is worth, you know, they're worth a fair bit of money. I see them going for, you know, $1,500 or so. I got it in payment for fixing a Hammond B3 organ that I did not make a video on because I had to fix it in the guy's house. Obviously, it's a 400-pound organ with a Leslie speaker. He's not moving it down to the shop. I had to go to his house to fix the thing, and he paid me some cash, and then he paid me in reel-to-reels and turntables and stuff. Gave me a bunch of equipment for my own collection, and I think there was like 4 reel-to-reels in it. But the TAC 3340 4-channel, that's the one, right? Looks great. I did a service on it. It needed a bit of service, but it works great. It sounds fantastic, and it sits on my stereo stand, just kind of being a display piece with those cheap NAB adapters. Anyway, this one's working. We'll just test this in fast forward and stuff and make sure that everything works. So this is just the music I recorded off the radio, I think, 8 years ago. This is just radio music, that's why it doesn't sound that great, but we want to make sure that it does the fast forward and the rewind and everything's working. You can see the tape tensioners here moving into position, and that's what those motors do, is they drive these back and forth to take up the slack. When you stop it, you'll see that these move out of the way, and then oh, don't want to play the cars. The cars will certainly take down my video. If I go into rewind, look at that. That is beautiful. Go to play. Genesis. As I mentioned, this tape is bad. I mean, what I really need to do is buy a new load of tape and load it onto these metal reels. But the tape was given to me. I know it's sticky shed. It will contaminate the heads. That's one of the reasons it sounds as bad as it does. Is this tape is one of those ones that's the Sony Type R11. Reeling in the years, right? I haven't listened to this tape in years. I don't think there's anything on the B side. In fact, I'm positive there's nothing on the B side. If I hit the button here, it'll switch directions. There's nothing. I only recorded it one direction because my other machine, it's not an auto reverse, right? It's a 4-track. So I could record it in one direction, rewind it, and record the other side without taking the tape off. Obviously, then it would have to be played on that machine, because I could record tracks 1 and 3 and 2 and 4, or whatever. Yeah, 1 and 3 in one direction, and then rewind it and do 2 and 4, or do 4-channel. I just want to make sure it fast forwards and rewinds properly with the large reels, and then we'll end it. Go back into play. You'll notice the dampening arm working on here when I stop it. It just slows down the dropping of the pinch roller. And then we'll go into rewind without going through stop first. So I want to observe when it runs out how quick it stops. These will drop down, and that should trigger the auto stop. There you go, you see. Okay, I'm going to say this one's done. We'll clean the heads on it and probably run the demagnetizer past it as well, and then we're done. Okay, heads are cleaned. I'll put the caps in. Capstan is cleaned. Got the demagnetizing tool here. I'll just take this in here. I turn the machine off when I'm doing this because you don't want to overload any of the amplifiers. Just bring this in around the heads. And not touching, but just close. Same with on the other side over here. Okay, the heads are now demagnetized. One last test. Now here's something interesting. I don't know if you guys noticed, but for whatever reason, the counter did not move when I had the 10-inch reels on. Maybe it's because I have this set for 7-inch now. Maybe because I switched this after I put the reel on. I don't know. Yeah, it didn't. If I push this, now if I push stop, now I should be able to cue and review. Is that how it works? Oh, I gotta push pause probably. Yeah, that's for cueing. See, that's for cueing. And sound. But for some reason that display set at 0 when I had those other reels on. If anybody knows why, I'd love to hear it because that doesn't make sense. I mean, it's just measuring the tape. I think it's measuring these. Is it these that are spinning? Or is it measuring the relationship of the speeds? I don't know. But that sat at 0 when I had the 10-inch reels on. But obviously it's working because when I put on the normal smaller reels, it works just fine. I don't know what it measures. So it's measuring the rotation of this. It's measuring the rotation of this spool here, which direction it goes, right? If I turn it that way, it goes down. If I turn it that way, it goes up. And that would have been turning with the large reel on as well. Strange. Anyway, it wasn't brought in for the tape counter not functioning. It was brought in because it wouldn't play. It wouldn't fast forward and it wouldn't rewind because of that problem. Anyway, it's fixed. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye.